You guys are witnessing the sickest hand in EPT history.
Goran Mandic has raised with Jack. Steve O'Dwyer has just re-raised with threes.
Mandic qualified for this event online. Maybe we should get him a mouse.
What's going on? Is he allowed to pull his bet back and take forever?
Easy there, Steve-O. Just because he's about to put you in a weird spot with threes doesn't mean you have to get all catty. Ringer.
There's the 4-bet from Mandic.
Shipping a pair is never that bad. Sometimes you'll get a fold and you'll be racing a ton.
I'm all in.
O'Dwyer shoves.
Now just isn't one of those times.
And Mandic calls all in.
Steve O'Dwyer is going to need the luck, the Irish passport.
Mandic the player at risk, but he is a 4-1 favorite here. The flop. 10-5-4 with 2 clubs.
Well, that's not a stellar flop for Steve.
Mandic now close to a 9-1 favorite.
Wow.
Deuce on the turn.
Wow, from 2 outs to 10.
O'Dwyer looking for an ace 6 or 3. And it's a 6! The straight for O'Dwyer, and Mandic sent to the rail in 15th place. Flop, queen 10-7, all diamonds.
Plenty on this flop to keep things saucy between these two.
Loddon does not continue. He checks to O'Dwyer.
Johnny's got the best hand, but Steve's got what will often be the best hand and crazy good equity when it's not.
O'Dwyer bets 65,000.
And Johnny's got like a movie trailer kind of hand. It looks good, but on this board it's a mediocre pair with a mediocre draw.
He calls the bet. The turn card is the deuce of clubs. Changes nothing. Johnny checks a second time.
Steve's able to keep firing, semi-bluffing at this board with impunity.
He bets 150K.
Johnny might feel compelled to call simply because of Steve's huge stack, but he's playing a brutal guessing game no matter what hits the river. A more brutal guessing game than what number am I thinking of?
Loddon calls the 150. 584,000 in the middle, and the deuce of diamonds on the river. Both players with a flush. O'Dwyer's is better.
This could be a shame.
Loddon checks a third time.
How is it that Steve O'Dwyer walks around like this and somehow Lichtenberger gets the nickname Chewy?
O'Dwyer now betting for pure value, 235,000. Loddon quickly calls.
And the Wookiee takes the Millennium Loddon on the value run, 235,000 parsecs. That has gotta hurt. Johnny.
What?
Johnny, you still have to pay him. I'm sorry.
Johnny Loddon is all in. He shoved over the top of Vasily Fursau's virtual all in.
Loddon in for just under 25 bigs.
Steve O'Dwyer's got 9s.
All in.
Wow.
He reshoves.
Wow. You got queens?
Fursau is committed. He has to call.
Only getting about 73 to 1.
Cool.
O'Dwyer's got them both covered. 2 players at risk here.
Oh, don't show ace something.
Sizable side pot.
I'm sorry, but I'm rooting for Steve.
Steve is also rooting for Steve. He's got excellent equity 3 ways.
Johnny needs to hit an ace or a queen. Fursau needs to hit an ace and a 5.
Wow.
But there's a 9 on the flop. And that pretty much seals the fate of Johnny Loddon and Vasily Fursau.
Cool.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Mercier off to share the good news.
We're done, guys.
Really?
Final table.
Done.
You did not.
No, not me. O'Dwyer.
There's 2 people gone though, really?
I mean, unless they catch runners.
Oh.
Dude, that is a runner. The aces can make a straight now.
A 3 on the river, and it is a chop!
No way.
Jinx.
What happened?
All right, never mind.
First hand of 30-60, and O'Dwyer's raised his button.
Pantling can definitely defend this 3-handed, especially with his stack.
He calls, and we are going heads up to the flop. 9 deuce deuce. Ace high still good. Pantling checks to the pre-flop aggressor. And Steve does not continue. He checks behind. 7 of hearts on the turn. O'Dwyer now with a flush draw.
See if Pantling takes a stab. He plays pretty fearlessly. Gotta respect that.
He will bet the turn. He overbets the pot, 385,000.
This is a big bet for more than 10% of Steve's remaining chips, but he might feel as if he's got to make this call based on what he could win if he goes runner-runner.
There's the call. The river is not a heart, but it is a queen, giving O'Dwyer top pair. Pantling now checks.
Steve probably knows his hand is going to be good here a lot.
The yellow chips worth 25,000 each. O'Dwyer going for value.
Which is that?
750,000.
Guy with the best hand here. Funny one.
Specifically designed to get a hero call out of a pocket pair or ace high.
And Pantling does hero with ace high.
Steve O'Dwyer played that river masterfully.
Johnny Loudon, queen 10 on the button. Raises to 120,000. Sixes for O'Dwyer in the big blind.
Loudon's going to be opening pretty wide, so pretty much any pair is going to be a 3-bet.
There is the 3-bet to 375,000.
How does Johnny respond?
With a 4-bet by the looks of things. He re-raises to 800,000.
Maybe a little aggro, but it's hard to fold 3-handed.
All in.
O'Dwyer shoves.
See? Told you. Johnny's getting almost exactly 2-1, and he's probably not too happy about that since it's not really enough to make this call. Which means he's going to have to fold away around 800K in chips.
Wow, Loudon calls!
Somehow Johnny talked himself into calling, and he's only as bad as a race. This is a huge flip for a difference in prize money of nearly 400,000 euros.
A flip for 5 million chips. Steve O'Dwyer, the player at risk. Marginal favourite as this race begins. A 6 on the flop, but the gut shot straight draw for Loudon.
That smile is the loudest thing in the room. Wouldn't expect it to stay that way, though, if Johnny catches a king.
Loudon's going to need that king on the river.
Steve is just one card away from a massive pot and dealing a devastating blow to Johnny's chip stack and spirit.
The Norwegians don't get what they commanded. O'Dwyer doubles up through Loudon.
Love the silent cool guy head nod to the proud rail.
It's Steve's button and he's got king 3 off.
Defo a raising hand.
Makes it 180K. Pantling with 8-9 off will call.
Defo a calling hand. Lots of hands will be heads up.
King 5-3, 2 pair for O'Dwyer.
Huge for O'Dwyer.
Pantling has checked. O'Dwyer checks behind.
Checking back, hoping to induce.
10 of clubs on the turn. And Pantling now leads for 450K, the patented Pantling overbet.
And it looks like induce is exactly what Steve did.
He calls.
My guess is he's planning to raise the river if he's given the opportunity.
7 on the river.
Steve should still really like his hand. And will Pantling fire into the abyss?
There's nearly 1.3 million in the middle. And Pantling overbets again, 1.7 million.
And actually, after a bet that big, I'm not sure Steve will raise. It'll just look way strong, and there's little chance he'd ever get called by worse. So if he raises, there's not much chance he'll get called, and when he does, he's often going to lose an even bigger pot. Either way, this time I think the overbet is going to bite Andrew in the pant sling.
Did you really just go there? This is a big decision for O'Dwyer at a pivotal point in the tournament.
This could be super nitty. I'm just gonna call.
He calls. Pantling mucks. And that means Steve doesn't have to show his hand. He adds 2.3 million to his stack. And he takes the chip lead.
He must have had 2 pair then.
I did.
O'Dwyer raises his button with 8-10.
Standard button raise.
Pantling has king 5 suited in the big blind.
Suited king is a very easy defend and will be good at showdown often enough.
Pantling calls.
All about the post-flop play, heads up.
Well, let's see the flop. Wow, action guaranteed. Trips for O'Dwyer. The second nut flush draw for Pantling. Pantling checks.
I think Steve has got to bet here to try to build a pot. There are lots of bad turn cards, not just for Steve, but ones that could be bad for Andrew too, and therefore kill his action.
O'Dwyer does continue for 300,000.
Pantling obviously can't fold a draw this huge.
He calls. The turn card. It's a spade! It's the flush for Pantling.
Check.
He checks again.
Unfortunately for Steve, he cannot slow down here because a flush is just so unlikely. Worst part is, if Pantling decides to raise a bet here, I don't think Steve can fold. This is a spade to dig Andrew Pantling out of his hole and possibly a grave for Steve O'Dwyer.
600,000 is the bet on the turn.
Does Andrew go for the raise now?
Signs point to yes. That is 1.425 million.
Like I said, I don't think Steve can fold. He's beating a lot of other eights. He's beating all semi-bluffs, and when he's up against a flush, like now, he's got equity to boat up. Still, he is behind.
How much do you have left in green? Can you cut those out?
Pantling has 3.5 million behind.
The only question is, does Steve call and reevaluate or just go for the gusto here? Guess the good news for him either way is he can't go broke.
Pantling is praying that Steve lumps it in.
I'm all in.
O'Dwyer shoves! And Pantling calls.
8. Down, please, gentlemen. Is that a flush?
It is a flush. And Pantling will double up unless there is a Jack 10, 8 or 4 on the river. 10 outs for O'Dwyer, which would see him win the title, but there's a 77% chance that Pantling doubles up and we play on. It's an 8 on the river! It's quads for O'Dwyer that see him triumph here in Monaco and win the EPT 9 Grand Final main event!
That's what, Steve. Cheers.
great.
Yeah, thanks, same to you.
Time to celebrate with the supporters.
You're right, this is the easy part.